The good news is that scientifically, it is impossible for you not to have a unique story. Meaning, so you've got 20 years of experience. Scientifically, no one else could have done the exact same thing day in and day out. They might have a very similar looking resume, but they're not going to have done these exact same things, nor created the same response and learning experience and expertise from it, from each one of those experiences. So you do have a unique story. And the 3 strategies to identify that story are: number 1, embrace your niche. Don't be afraid of it. It's not limiting. Really, don't try and cast a big net. And fish in the right waters. There's a reason that you were the right person at the right time for all your successes. Finding that common denominator is the genesis of your story. Now, don't be discouraged by trying to do this yourself, because we don't have the right perspective. From where we sit, it's a completely, we get very attached to all our accomplishments. And again, because they were the hard thing, right? But the accomplishments are not the story. And that's really the reason executive coaching exists at this level, is to help people with that perspective. Number 2 is get in touch with your excitement. There's a lot of unhelpful emotions that surface from a job search at the executive level. Most have never had to explain their ROI before, and they become very irritated with that fact alone. There can be some defensiveness about age. They don't understand why their experience is not enough, or why all they've ever had to do was interview, and they've gotten every job they've ever been in for. And maybe there's a chip on the shoulder about that, or a chip on the shoulder about not getting it, that people just don't get. Why do I have to explain it? But once we tap into what we do best, that's the catalyst to truly, that's where our impact kicks in. That's where our professional passion kicks in, because we're actually thinking about how we can truly impact the company. And that is, after all, what it is that we love to do. And then the last thing is to really take the passion and take them on a journey to the desired outcome. So, this can be a little tricky, and this we can definitely help you with too, because, you might have to convey some things that they don't want to hear. When you're solving people's problems, a lot of it is that they're doing it wrong. So that is a very shaky ground to walk on. So we can definitely help you with that. But a lot of people also too feel like if I give them all the information, they're just going to take this information and run with it. And why would they buy the cow if I'm giving them the milk? But in actuality, for the most part, they're looking for a subject matter expert. And when they find the person that gets it, they say, can you just do it for us? When all is said and done, the stakeholders jump on the person that is actually taking them through the journey. So here are 5 quick tips, and you'll be sent this, to align your story with their vision. So your overall value, your story, your value, your ROI is a fixed constant. The chameleon strategy does not work at this level. Meaning, in middle market, you can go spam yourself out to the market and then just tap dance around whatever hot buttons they want. That is not how it works at this level, because you are they're hiring subject matter expertise. So that's the constant. And the key to captivating your stakeholders to this value is positioning the journey according to the priorities without changing your ROI. So the first thing you want to do is really ensure that your story is your brand. And this is where the outside perspective can help. Authenticity, and not just tapping into, oh, I can do that, I've done that before, but really this is the core of my value. preparing your proof, and this is again where accomplishments come into play, but you don't want to make it what you're leading with. It's anecdotal. Whether it be, oh yeah, we tried that over at XYZ company. Yeah, that doesn't work so well because this kind of happened, and you're getting your proof statements ready. Target the market correctly. Make sure you're focused on those that actually need your subject matter expertise. Ensure that your story is conveyed over a variety of channels, because your job now is essentially is a thought leader. And as a thought leader, that actually means that means social media, that means whether you're doing speaking engagements or just even having your network being evangelistic with the problem that you solve. And lastly is modify your what's in it for them. So if you see the word with them, it's what's in it for them to your value conversation. Again, your value stays consistent, but there's going to be certain aspects of what it is that you do that is more important than others. So the secret to making all of this work and all of this sort of come together is to understand that perspective is the story. So every perspective has a different story. And just to highlight that, I'll leave you with something you may or may not have seen if you've done any workshops or anything. If you take your finger high above you and you move it in a clockwise direction and you keep that going in that same direction, when you get down here, you will realize that your finger is moving counterclockwise. So perspective means that everybody is looking at something differently, and if they're looking at it differently, they're probably getting a different story. So your ability to step into their shoes and not talk from your agenda, but to speak from their agenda and walk them through the solution is the key. It's harder than it seems, especially when identifying your own value and differentiator is difficult because we're just so close to it. But once you get that right truth and truly understand the unique value or ROI for your compensation that you bring to the table, it becomes easier to tell the story of turning the company's vision into a reality.